When we're talking about slope, a slope refers to the inclination of the line. So how tilted is the line into a positive or negative side? And the slope is going to have a formula. And that's what we're going to be covering in this lesson. One of the biggest thing is for a lot of people, they see slope and they think that it's something challenging, it's something new, but it's not the case. Since you were in elementary school, you have been pretty much preparing for the slope because you saw it as a ratio, you saw it as a unit rate, you saw it as a constant of proportionality. That's something that you have covered in the last couple of years, but right now we're going to give it the proper name that we needed for algebra, and the name is slope. So the slope is the inclination of the line. If the slope is positive, the line is increasing. If the slope is negative, the line is decreasing. And if the slope is 0, it is a horizontal line. Now, another way to see this is trying to keep in mind that we're going to be looking at the change in y divided by the change in x. This is read as delta y over delta x. Delta is a Greek letter that represents change in math and in physics. Now, when you look at different videos, you're going to see people that are referring to this as your rise over run. How much is it going up or down compared to how much is it moving left or right? Now, this is a way that you can actually use whenever you have a graph, but whenever you have a table, this is going to be a lot more challenging. So that's why we're going to use the slope formula. The slope formula is like a recipe. Whenever you use it properly, you're going to get the desired result. And you're never going to go wrong, assuming you're always putting the correct numbers in. The slope formula is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. And right now we're going to see how to apply it. We're going to find the slope between 2 points, and keep in mind that the only thing we need to do is follow the order of the formula. So I'm going to start by writing the formula, and we already know y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Now, right here, they're giving us 2 points. We have the point 2, 8, and this is 1 point. Then we also have the point 4, 12. Now, whenever you're given a pair like this, your first number will be your x, your second number will be your y. Now, this is technically the first point just because it's on the left side. So what I'm going to do is write x1, y1. And our second point will be the one on the right side, and that's going to be my x2, y2. In math, whenever we're talking about slope, we usually use the letter m, so I'm actually going to put m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, to make everything nice and simple, we're going to start by drawing 4 boxes, and then we're going to label them on top. And you are expected to do the same. If you do this, you're never going to go wrong, and you're always going to get the correct answer. So we're going to do y2 minus y1, and then at the bottom we're going to have x2 minus x1. So before you start plugging everything in, you need to make sure that you have already labeled your points. If not, you're going to make a mess. So my first one is going to be y2. This is x1, y1, that's not it. We have x2, this is our number. Our y2 is going to be 12, so I'm going to write 12. So we have 12 minus, now we're going to be looking for our y1. y1 is right here, so our number is going to be 8. The next number that we're going to be looking for is x2. It tells me right here x2, and this is our x2, so 4. And lastly, our x1 is going to be right here, so 2. So now we're going to do 12 minus 8, which is 4. And then we're going to do 4 minus 2, which is 2. Now we're going to divide 4 divided by 2, and your slope is going to be 2. And that's how you use the slope formula. The slope formula is going to be following you for the next 3 years at least. You're going to be using it in Algebra 1, you're going to be using it in Geometry, and you're going to be using it in Algebra 2. Now, if you're going to keep going higher in math, you're going to keep using the slope formula for more years. And then when you get to college, you need to know this for college algebra. So we're going to be finding the slope of the table. Now, in this case, we don't have 2 specific points. We have 4 x's and 4 y's, which means that we actually have 4 points. The only thing you need to pay attention to now is try to figure out which point you want to use and make sure that you get the correct number, that it's on the right side. So in this case, I'm going to start by choosing, let's say, 7. So my x is going to be 7, my y is going to be 3. So I'm going to write down the point 7, 3. Now, this is the point that I'm using. You could also have chosen 5, 5, or you could also do 5, 9. There's nothing wrong with the point that you choose. The next point is going to be 11 and negative 1. So 11, negative 1. These are the points that I chose. But again, you could have used any of the other 2. And we're going to label them first. So we're going to put x1, y1, x2, y2. And now we're going to follow the same format that we have been following. So the first thing I'm going to put is m is equal, and I'm going to draw my boxes. y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. We're going to be paying attention to the first one. We have y2, and my y2 is right here. And now that's going to be negative 1 minus, we're going to put our y1, which is in this case 3. And then we're going to go into our x2. This is my x2, 11, minus x1, which is 7. Negative 1 minus 3 gives you negative 4. And then when we divide this, we're going to get 11 minus 7 is going to give you 4. Negative 4 divided by 4 is going to give you negative 1. So we're going to put our slope, or our m, is going to be equal to negative 1.